I feel for the imposter syndrome, all of you, you got to understand it's a natural process. We all go through it. You know what I mean? We all, especially if you're in the beginning stage, because you're now finding the ground to actually understand the value for your time.
Coming to you live, the #1 podcast for digital marketing and branding, hosted by Chef Stellar and Nate CEO. Let's talk digital. Hey everyone, it's Siobhan here and Nathan. And today I
Peace.
just wanted to go over a topic that I think everyone struggles with.
Yes.
Is imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is when you feel like you're not worthy of the position that you're playing, whether
Yeah.
it's in life or in your career.
Yeah.
You're very second guessing.
Yourself,
Yeah.
even though you know things.
All right. So
Imposter syndrome.
yes.
hmm And what is it? And why is it? Why it's not healthy?
Well, imposter syndrome, again, like before, it's when you feel like a fraud in your career.
Right.
Generally, it's your career that you feel like you're going to be called out as a fake or like you can't do something that you're very capable of.
Yeah.
Why it sucks is because you are actually doing the job already. You're actually doing the thing
Yeah.
that you're thinking you're not capable of,
Of doing,
but you are.
but you are doing it. And you know what? A lot of the times that's because you don't have a lot of clients is yet, maybe to give you that feedback, to let you know that, hey, you know what, you are doing a good job and I really love your work, right?
I
So I guess this normally comes around the intro stage, I would say,
I think it
of
goes beyond intro stage. Like personally for myself, like um I was, in terms of intro stage, I was very much a novice when I started copywriting. And then, like, my first couple of jobs with copywriting, I was still
mhm,
like, oh my gosh, to like second guessing myself as to whether or not I did a good job.
mhm.
But I think also, too, when you're thrown into a position that you're doing, but now it seems bigger than what you're capable of. So
It seems
I don't
that
know if
way.
that's necessarily the beginning for everyone,
I would
right?
say everybody's is different. I just feel like for mine was when you're going to sell yourself to a company saying, hey, you know what, I sell websites, or I do art, I'd like to create your logo. And a lot of the time the syndrome kicks in when you're asking for the pricing.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? So it's like, you're looking at it like this is easy work because of how much time you put into it to know the work. But at the end of the day, because it's so easy to you now, it almost feels like, you know what? Should I be charging them this price? Like, am I really? Is this what it really entails? Is this it? Is this all it is? You know what I mean? And for me, I went through that a while. You remember,
Mm-hmm.
like I used to undersell myself because what I did was just too easy, and it felt like there was just more to it. And I even getting on video and speaking about our profession, sometimes in the back of your mind is, am I the best at this? Like, you're the best when you're doing it, but to talk back and give advice, for me, that's where it comes in. It's like, well, am I telling the right thing? What if somebody else out there knows something different than the way I do it? And they basically try to call me out and say, hey, you know what's going on with you? That information is not correct, or so forth. But the point is, you've put so much years into it. You know what I mean? You should know in your heart, this is what it's about. You know exactly what you're doing. You are that professional. A lot of the times you just got to remind yourself how much hours you've put in to get exactly where you're at right now.
I think also too is to kind of reframe negative thoughts. So instead of being like, well, I can't do this or I can't do X, Y, and Z, or I'm not comfortable here,
Yeah.
change those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. Well, you know what? I am here, so let me just do it.
Yes.
Or I've been here and people like the work. I'm good.
Yes.
Or even write down those accomplishments and then kind of refer back to them on a daily basis, or whenever you do feel like you're an imposter in that situation.
Yes, yes.
Like celebrate your
Your wins.
absolutely
Yeah, yeah.
celebrate your wins.
Like we celebrate our wins. We always, every time we win, right? We end up going out to eat and we celebrate it, even though we're talking about the company that we're going to be working with and
Mhm.
all the different ideas. But this is what we like. We like to enjoy each other over work, believe it or not, and our family, right? Um, the best way to get over is to always remember the way I get over is I always look at it like whatever I'm getting into is actually an opportunity. You know, so I look at it more of an opportunity than have that resistance of the syndrome. You get what I mean? The imposter syndrome. I'm more like, okay, yes, what do you mean you don't know what you're doing? You should be, this is an opportunity, and they see the potential in you, right? This is why you're here. They actually see that you can do the job. So, you know what? Step up to this opportunity
Mhm.
and see it in a more positive light as opposed of resistance, you know?
And I think another way too to get through it is to embrace those mistakes.
Yes.
Like,
But are they mistakes?
well, I mean, everybody makes mistakes.
But are they mistakes?
They're learning lessons.
Right. But I think the word in mistakes, the definition behind that word,
Mhm.
is what gives it that negative condescent because mistakes also works with the winnings because to get to the winnings, you have to have mistakes. So it's almost like the best thing to make mistakes because you now know what to never do again.
Well, generally they're massive learning lessons, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
for that exact reason, like if I'm gonna say this in the meeting and it doesn't work, I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. I just know the next meeting, I won't say it.
And you know what, guys? Like she's saying in a meeting, start recording your meetings. Like, you know, your phone has a recorder, record it, play it over, and see what worked and what didn't work. And things like that can actually refine what you're doing to
Mm-hmm.
maybe help with that same syndrome that you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like it's all a progress and work. And that's when you now look at these mistakes in the right way so it doesn't come under the category of discouragement and
Mm-hmm.
lack of confidence. If you can see that you're making mistakes, that means you're on the direction to your goal because you're trying something.
I think also too, it, it helps you focus on your strengths.
Yeah,
So when you record those meetings or recording whatever, or just go back to what you've done before,
yeah.
like the really positive aspects of it, you're
Mm-hmm.
able to now hone
Hone
down
in.
on what you do really well.
Exactly. And even those mistakes or negatives, people will call them. I choose not to use those words. I choose to use experiences, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Even through those things, you can actually have more insight on why it's not working by how they react or why it is working.
mm-hmm.
So I feel for the imposter syndrome, all of you got to understand it's a natural process. We all go through it. You know what I mean? We all, especially if you're in the beginning stage, because you're now finding the ground to actually understand the value for your time. You know what I mean? And when you get into those levels of changing price or asking more for what you've put into it, right? You just always think about those late nights you were up and everybody was sleeping. All those times people were at the club and you didn't get to go. You know what I mean? This is what can help you pass a lot of that syndrome, the confidence that you've put in that time into knowing who you are.
Right, absolutely. Well said.
Well said.
Well said.
Hey,
So
glad to be here with you.
so it's time to take control of your imposter syndrome, really hone in and start believing in yourself. A lot of what we talked about today can be action steps to take towards really believing in yourself more and getting that job done. You're already there, might as well do the best that you're able to do.
Any
Um,
book suggestions, maybe? I suggest
ooh,
Anthony Robbins' Mindset, I think it's called. I'm not sure, but we'll put the correct book somewhere here, right? But it actually changed my life. I learned that in an earlier age. Do you mind if I tell this quick story?
mm-mm,
When I was younger, I used to hang with these guys, and they're really good book. They're not really good book. They were avid book readers. You know what I mean? And I wasn't really into books. I was more into the physical things of life. I'm more creative than reading. You know what I mean? And they gave me this book, and what the book spoke on was punching the right buttons. Anthony Robbins, using your, when something rubs you wrong, you can actually redirect it to push a different button. So when you feel like you're starting to feel like you're not the syndrome is getting in your head, you're not the best at what you do, you're not sure of yourself, the best thing is to just start, make it push the button of going to look into what's new in your craft,
Mm-hmm.
and staying above your craft and staying in front of the curve. So anytime I feel any type of energy that's telling me I'm not the best in what I do, I just go into research into what's new in my craft.
Absolutely.
So that book is from Anthony Robinson. I can't remember what name it is, but we'll have it right here somewhere in on the screen somewhere. Right?
My book recommendation is The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Super, super good book. I think this is my second time reading it right now. It's really all about refining your craft and really putting in the work to refining your craft. And in refining your craft, you'll now kind of let go of that imposter syndrome and feeling less than and feeling like you're not worthy of the work that you're doing. So the war of art.
Mm.
Yeah.
What was the best takeaway from that book?
Um there's an R word I always forget, but I think it's resistance,
Mm-hmm.
and how there's a lot of just laser fear things in the world that have you resisting taking that step forward, going to the upping your level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I forgot who was on Joe Rogan that was talking on resistance. Resistance is a big thing, actually.
Joe Rogan.
Like, for instance, when you go to the gym, what really stops people from going to the gym is not the pain aspect. It's more of a resistance. It's the resistance of thinking about that pain, but that pain doesn't really hurt you, though. You get what I mean? It's more that resistance. I'm not sure if I explain it better, but I'll maybe clip a little piece of Joe Rogan in right here. No?
Mm,
But anyways, back to your story.
no. And then I'm lost. I'm sorry.
The resistance.
Yeah, so he talks about resistance, and then he kind of pinpoints different aspects of life. Like, instead of studying on your craft, whatever it is, you're scrolling through YouTube. Or my vice is scrolling through Pinterest,
Yeah.
right? Instead of actually going back and seeing what's new for 2023.
Right.
Or going back and looking or talking, just having to pick up the phone and be like, hey, client, how are you today? Instead of doing that, it's easier to scroll on Pinterest for an hour and be like, oh, where did the time go? I have nothing to do.
Time management, in a sense.
Right? But it's just excuses that your brain
will create.
Yeah, it gives you. It makes it seem relevant at that time to be like, okay, yeah, sure. I have time to scroll, or I have time to do whatever else is not really prevalent in terms of getting the job done. And I think resistance has a big part to play in that imposter syndrome as well, because you're resisting the fact that you're actually doing a good job, and you're not willing to look at all the positives around what you're doing.
So you're saying, like, looking through Pinterest is sort of a vice to not really pay attention to that feeling, in a sense. You're just looking for um you're looking for something to make you feel better outside of study. Is that what you're saying? Like,
Yeah,
you're
like
looking
sometimes I don't know about feel better. Feel better is the word. Sometimes I know, like, I'll have to do something, and then I'm like, let me just check something here,
Yeah.
right? Or if there's something that I have to watch, say a client sends in a video, and we have to watch it before we send it out to get it edited, whatever it is, right? I'd be like, I can watch that later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it's like you just go back to what is comfortable. But comfort is a state where you don't want to be. Like, if you're ever comfortable in the job that you're in, you have to move on. It's time to level up.
Yeah.
Right? So
let me add to what you're saying then. Because even with Myron Golden, he speaks on something like that, where he speaks on time management, the value of time, right? Would you say that kicks in? Because the thing is, in chasing entrepreneurship, you want to get your billions before you reach a certain age. So you now got to manage your time where everything you're doing is chasing that end picture of your dream. You know what I mean? Every second of the day. And that imposter syndrome can cause you to lose a lot of time when you start looking into Pinterest. Because for me, I don't like, I'm not going to say I don't sleep, right? But I can guarantee you a percentage of my day, or even 2 seconds to 10 seconds, a minute out of my day doesn't go to wasted time. And what I've accomplished is killing two birds with one stone. So if I'm going to be watching anything on Netflix, I'm working at the same time to have that, where I'm looking at it and working at that same time to have that company maybe, or that entertainment. Because, where sometimes you work, you get ahead of, you forget your timing, and you're sitting there for 18 hours, 20 hours, not realizing the whole day has passed, right? But the thing is, that imposter syndrome can really be sabotaging you when it comes to getting to that goal, because now when you're pushing it back, 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 and there's only one now moment, right? You're now stretching that time in between you and getting that goal. You're now making that goal 5 years long, 6 years long, 7 years long, 8 years long.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, imposter syndrome has a lot of domino effects to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of things do connect to it. And you know what? I just realized a lot in conversating with you about all these other triggers that can come from it. Yeah.
All right. So keep it pushing, guys. You're not done yet.
No.
Right? Have faith in yourself. I have faith in you.
Know in yourself.
What?
Know in yourself. Faith is like belief. You're not sure. Like, I have enough faith to get there. Know that you're gonna get there.
All right. So know in yourself
Know in
that you're
yourself.
capable.
Yeah.
I know that you can instead of believe you can.
I know you can do it. Just like I know you're gonna subscribe right now and press the like button. Right?
Thank you so much for watching, my stellar people. Be sure to stay tuned for the next video.
And you know what, guys? Stay stellar.
Bye.
Peace.